Meeting is being live streamed.
Welcome to today's talk session. My name is Deidre Moss, and I am the host of Can We Talk? I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. Today, our talk session is focused on overcoming cancer. My guest today, Keshe Smith, is a survivor. She's an overcomer of cancer, and she has beaten her cancer diagnosis. She's here to share her story. At this time, I will pass the virtual mic to her to have her introduce herself. Ms. Smith, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, a pleasant good day. Keshe Smith is my name, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm an author, a friend, a sister, and everything else.
Awesome. Good stuff. And thank you for that introduction, Ms. Smith. So can we talk about overcoming cancer?
Okay, well, I was diagnosed with leukemia. That's a medical term. Yeah.
You're taking over for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Can we talk about it?
Yes, I would gladly talk about it.
Let's get into it. So let's look at your background, because you started to get into it. So tell us about what type of cancer you had, and tell us about how you got your cancer diagnosis.
Okay, the type of cancer, they call it leukemia or blood cancer. And they say that's like one of the worst. But for me, in 2008 I was preparing for work, and I ended up in the kitchen. I felt faint, and I called out to my husband, who, when I called for him, I was about to fall. And he came and he caught me. And when I was conscious, I ended up, I remember being on the couch because he had put the fan on me. And he said, according to CPR training, the person is supposed to receive oxygen. So after that, I told him, I said, okay, I'll go to the doctor and find out what is what, and he could continue to, prepare for work. When I went there, on my way driving, I was just noticing any changes in my body, anything like that. And when I went there, they did the test, they ran some tests, they did blood works and everything. And the conclusion was I had to be admitted. And when I was admitted, they called for the specialist. And he decided that he wanted to do his own tests. They did a bone marrow biopsy, and my blood results, my white counts were very low. Okay, and they did a bone biopsy, and they sent it to the States, and when it came back, they discovered that I had, they call it leukemia, blood cancer. They wanted to treat right away, but I wanted to do a second opinion, which I did. I prolonged it, but I went away for a second opinion, and I began treatment at Jackson Memorial.
Ms. Smith, I want to thank you for sharing that, and that might have been a scary experience for you. So I wanted to ask, and especially as we fall in line with Mental Health Awareness Month in the month of May, how did the diagnosis that you received impact your mental health?
Well, for me, here in the Bahamas, we are known as a Christian nation. So many of us, the generation before, and many of us and our generation, we were part of Sunday school. In high school, from 7 to grade 12, we did religious knowledge, and we grew up in the church. So I had a foundation, and I knew the word, and I stood on the word, and I read about this Jesus and all of these things that he did. So I decided to give him a try, because what do you do, and who could you run to in a situation like that? So besides prayer, which is a foundation for me, I ran in prayer, and I sought the help of other prayer warriors, and I stood strong because I was leaning fully and depending on all these scriptures we read through the years, and Jesus and Jehovah. So I decided to run to them for help. I lifted my eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. And we know that God is a present help in the time of trouble. So I was in trouble. So what do? I call on the one who I know who could help me in the time of trouble. So in the midst of all of that, even to receiving the doctor's report, you know, I was first depending on the great physician, which is Jesus Christ himself, and then following in line with the doctor. At first I wasn't with the doctors in their report because they said I was in denial, you know, but I made it.
I want to thank you for sharing that. And I've heard that in the process of denial is a part of the process. But you also shared that you were able to overcome some of the impact by tapping into your spirituality. And so I want to thank you for sharing that. So along with the impact on mental health is the impact on your emotional well-being, your finances. Because I can only assume that it's costly, treatments and things that you would have to do. So can you also talk about the emotional and financial impact that your diagnosis of cancer, leukemia, might have had on your emotional well-being and your finances, if there were any impacts?
Well, we have insurance. We have insurance with Galen Insurance. I don't mind me mentioning them. So they covered my medical bills, and I had to be lifted. So they covered that also. Um, the finances were in place, and thank God for the insurance too. Like I said, that really covered us because the overall bill was hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that was covered.
And what about your emotional well-being?
I had 100% support from my husband, my family members, 100%. When I was airlifted to Jackson Memorial, my husband stayed with me throughout everything. And even he spent like 19 days there with me in treatment and everything. And I was in one bed and he was in the next. I had full support from my mother, my sisters, everybody, full support. They really held me up. They held my hand. They full support. Even to walking that they didn't mention nothing but death. After the first treatment, I lost my hair, my skin color turned dark, and they just was there, hand and foot, hand and foot. My mom, because of the pigmentation on my skin, my face was like black, and she couldn't take it. She stopped coming to the hospital. And when I asked her, she said she couldn't take it because she saw it was like going down. But I went down because with the treatment, you lose strength, energy, everything. You're killing some of the good cells and mostly the bad cells. So, but I had that full support, 100%.
Ms. Smith, we're going to talk about support in our next point, but when you say treatment, you're talking about chemotherapy?
Yes, I did chemotherapy. I didn't have to do radiation. They didn't recommend the radiation. They recommended the 3 cycles of chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy is done Robinson, and it's red in color. I said that's it just wipes you out. It just wipes out everything in you. I lost strength and energy, but I remembered one day, I remember the song, I'm trusting in you, Lord. I was very low, and that song really helped me out also. I'm trusting in you, Lord. When I look at the situation, what could I do but trust in you?
Thank you for sharing that. So you would have said that the chemotherapy would have had an impact on you. It drained you, and you also shared that you also lost your hair. So how was that experience? What was the emotional in losing your hair? But was that the only side effect? I know you said your skin was dark.
I lost weight drastically. But I remember one day my husband and I, the doctor recommended going in the garden and just sit down and get some fresh air. So we did that. And when I came back, I decided I wanted to take a shower. So I went in to take a shower. And when I was washing my hair, it felt a knot in the front. You couldn't feel anything. And then on one side, I was combing, and then the comb just stuck. And I jumped out the shower when I went into the middle. And them tears just began to flow. Because in the front of my head, there was nothing. All the hair was gone. And the knot was just there. So I just put on my shower cap and I went to my husband who was lying down because he was there with me through the whole ordeal. And I said, I'm losing my hair. You want to see? And he was like, yeah, I want to see it. So I removed my cap, the satin cap, what the female we put on that night. So I removed that and I said, and I showed him. And he said, it's going to grow back. He encouraged me, but that night after when I went to bed, he was in one bed, I was in the next, and we just watched TV. We didn't talk much about it, but he was a pillar of strength for me.
Wow. And you also talked about your skin darkening.
Yes, the chemo, yeah,
So,
yeah. My face was dark, black. The chemo, it was so strong. But like I said, it kills the good cells. I mean, the cancer cells and some of, the good and bad. But for me, yeah, that's what I lost, like 45 pounds. My hair was gone, but I was encouraged. My husband said, no, it's going to grow back. I lost strength and energy. I lay day after day. I would just lie there, and read my scriptures. And that's when the doctor said, go for a walk, sit in the garden. So they encouraged me to do things like that and get the joints moving and things like that.
Thank you for sharing, because I've heard about the loss of hair with the chemotherapy, but I didn't hear much about discoloration and changing your skin pigmentation. So that's a learning experience. I want to thank you for sharing. And so you talk about support, the support of your husband, the support of your family. Um, do you think that played a role in you kind of pushing forward? And then also with the support of your colleagues, did you find that you have support from your work colleagues? Because I know you would have said that you this would have happened to you on your way to work. So would you have the support of your colleagues?
Well, I didn't, but because I was hospitalized, I just informed work. But I had one friend of mine, she was a co-worker, a friend of mine, Vanessa, she was there until I was airlifted. So when I was airlifted, I didn't communicate much with work. I didn't communicate much with work, but no.
And I hear you talk about your faith. You talk about your faith. What role does your faith in God play during your experience during this process that you would have gone through?
Well, it was for me, I leaned and depended on my faith in God 100% because I knew of persons who walked that road and some didn't make it. And even prior to me being hospitalized, I would do evangelism for like over 10, 12 years. So I know about going to the hospital and encouraging patients on just about every one of the wards. That was a love that I had. I did evangelism work. So here it is, me encouraging these persons to hold on to Jesus and, but, this God that you know about, continue to hold on him, depend on him. And this Jesus that you sing about, we read about, he's faithful and everything like that. So the thing is, I ended up, the shoes was on the other foot. So here I was, what do I do? So I lean and depend on the God that I was sharing about and the Jesus that I was sharing about. And he never failed me yet. He's faithful. I have to say that.
So you had to put your faith into action, because you talk about prior to this experience, you were the one who were going around from the hospital beds encouraging other persons. So how did it feel to be on the other side? I know it's one thing to talk it, but to actually go through the experience, how was that experience for you?
The same Jesus I told them about, I had to depend on. I had to prove him because I was telling people about him, you know. And like I said, here in the Bahamas, we known as a Christian nation, and we know about Sunday school, we know about religious and all. So when we mention Jesus, it's not a foreign name, it's someone that we all know about.
So I was taking a peek at the comments. So Denise is saying, Mr. Smith, you do not look like your story. God is able and Jesus never fails. What are your thoughts?
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, we know that God is faithful, and I thank you very much. But I fully believe that what he did for one, he could do for the other, and he did it for me, and I'm so grateful. That was touching. I had to hold back my tears. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, Miss Denise, she's listening, and so she says, "Amen." You don't look like what you went through, and you absolutely don't. You don't look like what you've been through.
Thank you.
So I wanna congratulate you for that. Let's talk about your book.
Mhm.
Your book.
Yeah, I have a copy here.
Okay, show us your book. So what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Cancer, Meet Christ and My God.
So tell us about your. Well, Denise is saying you're so welcome and you are an overcomer. Thank you so much, Denise, for listening, and we appreciate you. Um, so tell us about your book.
Well, when I was hospitalized on a daily basis, I was taking notes. There were hymns that I was singing. There were scriptures that I jot down, and I was reading. So daily I was writing things down, different experiences, the doctors, family members, and I didn't know that those bullet points would have been a book. So in my book, I talk about from beginning to end, and some of the dreams I had, but mostly the hymns, which really strengthened me and encouraged me. So just like I said, the daily devotions, the things that the chemo, the doctor's advice, just different things, the scriptures, everything. I just those who encourage me, those who at that point that led me up to that point, I mentioned all of them because I love prayer. That's my foundation. I love prayer. I believe in prayer, and I discovered that prayer works. So I 100% believe in prayer, and I had a lot of prayer. But two persons I could pinpoint who really covered me in prayer and really like stood in the gap for me. So it was just points that I just put together, but I didn't know it would have become a book. And even to when I started it, it just expanded.
So the book is Cancer Meet My God,
Cancer, Meet Christ and My God.
and the book is for cancer survivors or
Yes, cancer survivors in particular, especially patients, because like I said, before me being hospitalized, I was a part of hospital ministry, which I love. And it's to encourage patients and family members who experience being hospitalized. It'll encourage, it'll motivate anyone who picks it up and read it. And it's just pointing to Christ and giving God all the glory for the great things that He has done for me.
Miss Smith. Oh, when I also want to ask you, what was your greatest challenge? Can you pinpoint anything that was your greatest challenge during that process?
Just the weakness, the weakness. Mind you, I honestly felt like I had to push. At that time, your body is just in a weak state because you're going down to regain everything again because the new cells and everything is, everything is coming back. My hair grew back right away. So that was it. But they say no, it's gonna go back and everything. But for me, I was just weak. I was weak a lot. And I lay down for days. I didn't want to do anything because that's how the chemotherapy had me. So sometimes, and I mentioned in the book that the chemotherapy makes you feel like you cannot go on another day. So you have to tap into your foundation, which which is Christ. For me, that's my foundation. So it wasn't hard for me to do that. I ran to him for help. In the midst of it all, I prayed. I prayed for the doctors even before they did anything. And there was a particular doctor, Dr. Rosenblatt, who my sister said he took on my case. He's the chief of the hospital there. He took on my case because he saw I was in denial, according to him. I didn't want to do anything. I said, get me out of here. What y'all talking about? But I followed the doctor's guidelines, and after the treatment in Jackson Memorial, I also came back to the recommended doctors over here who were part of Jackson Memorial. So just been following the doctor's guidelines.
And out of that situation, can you think about any rewards? I know it's hard. That's a tricky question, but were you able to take anything away from that experience?
Like I said, I was the shoe was on the other foot. And for me, I just want to encourage persons, who family member, it doesn't have to be cancer, any disease, to be encouraged. The diagnosis is not a death sentence. They usually say that as a cliche. But your foundation, I would just encourage persons to lean and depend on this Jehovah we talk about, we hear about. To lean and depend on Christ Jesus, who we talk about, who we read about, and we will be okay.
Ms. Smith, I want to thank you for sharing today. Can you tell us give us a name one more time of your book? Show up that book. Show up the book. Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Are you hiding that?
I apologize. Don't want to hide it. Name of the book is Cancer, Meet Christ and My God. So I was telling Cancer, Meet Christ and My God. The book is available at Bahamas Faith Ministries and Doc's Pharmacy.
Awesome. Ms. Smith, thank you for sharing with us.
I apologize. My husband just did online, Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Thank you, husband. Thank you. He had to correct you, right? Yes. Oh, you had to add plug-in. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I wonder if he have anything to say. Would he like to add anything about his experience? No? Ms. Smith, I want to thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us today. And you would have shared, are there any page you want to see your book? Is it attached to a page?
Yeah, there was something.
Page?
Sorry?
Is your book attached? Do you have a page for the book?
Yes, Facebook. I have a Facebook account.
Share the page, please.
Yes, Keshe Smith, my name. Yes.
So you can go on the page and find out about the book, right?
Yes, I was featured in the 3 top in the headlines, the Guardian, the Tribune, and the Punch. My story, yes. I had Mr. Sheena Robinson Blair, who edited my book. She was spectacular. Yeah, she did it. She advised me. She said, put it in the newspaper, get it out there. And I followed that by so on my page, Keshe Smith, you will see everything there.
Ms. Smith, thank you so much. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I know it may have been a challenging experience for you, but you're an overcomer. You made it through.
Yes.
So I want to salute you today. Thank you. I would also like to thank our viewers for listening in, like our page for future notifications. And let us know what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about in upcoming sessions. Comment under this video and let us know your thoughts, and what you want us to talk about. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Can We Talk? Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you and good evening. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
You're very welcome, and thank you so very much.